We're gonna do a quick sound check. How's the levels? How are the levels? 5x5, thanks, Create. Just gotta jot down a note here. That, okay. Just writing something down, hang on. Okay. It's a huge bill. It's a great bill. Porky Bill. Oh, what do we got? Slice it and slap it. Slice it and slap it. Alright, let's see. We got a huge bill, pork roll bill. Alright, so we got Create Craft, Beard. What's going on, boys? FB, SPB, Pete Clark, and Idris Koban. This drop in gold is buying opportunity, a fake drop. Yeah, so Idris, I've said many times, in order for there to be an actual, drop, we need it to be sustained. It needs to last at least, a couple of months, because it's not like stock where it just drops and then all of the dealers just drop all of their prices to follow spot. It doesn't really work that way. It's intended to scare. It's a huge drop, not a real drop, but a fake drop, a little drippy drop. We like those drippy drops. Let's see. See, I don't think my Trump impersonations are that good. Let's see. Let's see what this is. This gold Pete. All right. Mr. Reluctant Stacker. He's a little reluctant. He's just dipping his toes in the metals. Just a little bit. He's a little reluctant. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. We've got about 9 minutes. We'll start then. Actually, let me just pull up another thingy here. Haven't done one of these in a while. One of these, just a chat. Let's explore! Greetings, members, one and all, to the Salivation Nation. Today, we're not gonna do an auction. Instead, we're gonna do a chat. Let's explore! I sometimes call him and tell him I am him from the future. I go, Sal! Sal! He goes, yes. I go, it's you. It's me, but it's you from the future. And then I do his fake push-ups that he does. 1, 2. Is like that movie Looper.
And you're collecting your silver bars. I think I've seen that movie once. Isn't that with like Jason Gordon-Levitt Hewitt or whatever the hell his name is, and then Bruce Willis before he lost his marbles?
Yes, indeed.
I tell him I'm him from the future.
What do I look like in the future?
If you need a fat stormtrooper to dance in into videos here, let me know. I'm your guy. Not sure if they make big boy sized costumes though. Well, it's funny. So, unfortunately, for the stormtrooper, what's up, Watchmen? The Stormtrooper costume, like you guys will see in just a moment behind me, they're made of ABS plastic. So there's no give. And I would say, so right now I would say I'm about 172 pounds. And I say that probably in my Stormtrooper armor, the max I want to be is like 166. Otherwise, then I start to not fit in it very well. There's no give in it. It's like form-fitting, and it's essentially like a hard shell. However, to get around the whole thing with the costumes and stuff like that, there's, you know, the scout troopers, the biker scouts. You know, in the Battle of Endor where they're flying around, they're fighting all the Ewoks, and they're flying around in their speeder bikes. So those are the most comfortable costumes if you're ever to do something for like the 500 first, because those you actually, it's almost like coveralls. It's like kind of like, you know, think of like Michael Myers from Halloween. He's just wearing like a one-piece mechanic suit, and then the helmet, the face mask actually flips up, and you can actually sit in them. So when you're wearing the Stormtrooper costume, you can't sit down. You can't really... You're very rigid when you walk. You're kind of just walking upright, and you're just kind of standing around like a statue. Whereas the biker scouts, you really have a lot of flexibility. If you need to get a drink and you're a Stormtrooper, it's a pain in the ass. You can barely bend your arms. You have to turn the helmet sideways. 77 inches tall. That's 6'5" for you Harvard grads. Oh man, so you're a big boy, Pete Clark. So I'm a foot shorter than you. So if I were ever to do another costume ever, I would do a biker scout. The other thing too is you can't really see in the Stormtrooper costume, so sometimes you kind of need a guide. If there's a lot of stairs or something, like you need somebody kind of in front of you. One time for Halloween, I was trick-or-treating with my kid, and it was getting to be a little dark out, and they're welding shield lenses in there, so it's really hard to see, and he had to kind of hold my hand and walk me home so I could see where I was going. I haven't worn the thing in years, though. I'm seriously going to give Matt an offer for his Stormtrooper uniform, but I'd want to wear it for giggles. Not gonna happen. So you gotta be my height, 5'7", because it's cut to size. Maybe if you were like 5'8", you could possibly get away with it. 5'6". And it was expensive, and it took me about 7 months to make. I'd say probably all in with all the tools needed to make it, the paint, the decals, all the electronics that I have running in the thing. I wonder if they even work anymore, to be honest with you. Probably around $2,000. But without it, I wouldn't have had this channel. I'm expensive but too tall. We got about 3 minutes. I'm just gonna go fill my water. I have 2 minutes left. I'll be right back. All right. Let us get started. In a minute. Probably chafing out. Oh, there's a thing called armor bites that you would actually get. Watchmen, YouTube put you in my feed after I subscribed to some other silver channels, just so you know. Awesome, Watchmen. Listen, it's awesome to have you here. Typically, I'll do, for these live streams, they're usually auctions, but every once in a while I like to just do a live stream chat, so I figured that's what we'll do tonight. Just kind of hang out. But it's a lot of fun, bud. But you'll get these things called armor bites on the back of your calves. So if when you bend your leg to walk, the bottom of the back of the thigh, like right above the back of the knee, and to the top of your calf muscle, that gap, the back of your knee, the two armor pieces kind of come together and pinch. So that it's called armor bites. It can hurt. All right, let's get this thing started, shall we? What do you guys think? Let's do it. So Steve C says, sounds fabulous. It actually sucks. It hurt. Those of you that are just coming in now, we're talking about, where are we? Back there, the Stormtrooper costume. Let me get my fat head out of the way. All right, that thing, which I made from scratch, took 7 months to do, and we're talking armor bites. So the back of the legs, where this thigh piece and the back of the shin there, or not shin, the calf, come together. When you walk, they'll like sometimes pinch the back of your calf muscle. So by the time you're done, after a few hours of wearing it, you'll have like these little like marks that take a few days to heal. It says, I'm a medic. Ouch. They hurt. They hurt. And one thing that you can do to alleviate that, they say in the back of this piece, if you watch Star Wars movies, you'll see in the back of those, there'll be like a cutout a little bit, and that gives you some give for the legs. I like to keep it as painful as possible. So, but yeah. So, kind of crazy of what's going on with silver and gold. Absolutely. Actually, I haven't really been paying a lot of attention to silver. Let's guess. Silver close to 34 bucks. So silver's still kind of flat as per always. Gold is up right now, $23. We're at $33.29. We're down about $100 from a few days ago, but as you guys know, hello from Turkey. Says Idris, thank you for being here. As you know, with the possible trade deals that we're supposedly having, especially with China, it's starting to put some confidence back in the market. We'll see how long this lasts. Spot gold 3307. I'm seeing 3307 as well. Good old silver, little old silver, just kind of sitting there doing not a whole heck of a lot. But I did find this just now, and I'm not trying to be like salivate metal, but what I want to look at is this right here. Has gold peaked? Prices may be overbought, but the precious metal is still under-owned, says TD. So this is as of today. And I just want to see what this is. Basically, it looks like a short read. Gold market has seen a sharp pullback day after hitting an intraday record high above 3,500 an ounce. However, one market analyst says that the rally is far from over, as the precious metal is significantly under-owned and still cheap by some metrics. In a recent interview with Kitco, Bart Malik, head of commodity strategy, said that investors could expect to see short-term volatility as gold's parabolic push above 3,400 an ounce has made gold prices overbought in some technical levels. However, looking at the broader landscape, he said that gold remains ignored by investors at large, which many of us know that that's usually always the case, right? I want to see if I could add... Let me see if I could do this real quick. Hang on a second. I want to see video capture. Let's see if this will work. Minicam, add source. Okay. And then let me close this down. There we go. That way, it's like I'm here and not like a mysterious voice. As to how high prices can go in the current uptrend, Malik says that gold's inflation-adjusted highs going back to 1970s put the all-time high at 35.44. That might not be a bad technical target for gold. Looking at historic gold prices versus the cost curve ratio shows we can go a lot further from here, so we've already seen a lot of people saying 3,500. In the case of broader correction, Malik says that he's watching to see if 3,100 holds as support. So Paulie Buck, who's in here, I said 3,000 bucks is like the new floor. And it was at 3,000 for quite a while. And then we had that brief dip. And he's like, oh, I thought 3,000 was the new floor. I'm like, it is, you dummy. Paulie, I hope you're listening. So, seems to be pretty safe. Spot gold last traded at $32.79, down roughly 3%. Gold prices are down more than 6% from their recent overnight all-time highs. Breaking down investors in the gold market, noted the commodity traders, who are generally considered speculative trend followers, are significantly long gold futures with most at max positioning. Blah, blah, blah. Alright, so we're not really seeing a whole heck of a lot of news here. 3,500, 3,550, and it could possibly go higher is what it says. Token Dave, hello. Hold out on buying gold. Tariffs will be reduced and gold will fall fast. Thing is, recently on the news, they were saying that for any big overhaul and trade deals, they could take like a year and a half to 2 years to actually agree on something, sign off on something, and have something implemented. It's not just like an overnight thing. Central banks will continue to buy gold as they question how reliable the U.S. is as a trading partner. We have the U.S. dollar weakening, even though the longer end of the yield curve is selling off. That shouldn't be happening. So there are definitely signs that not all parts of Treasury curve are traditional safe havens, and gold will benefit from this. All right, whatever. We didn't really learn a heck of a lot. A hell heck of a lot. $3,500 gold is a target for the year. I'm absolutely not a financial planner, but I will continue buying silver and gold at regular scheduled rate. Buddha says I'm with Beard. Many more factors than tariffs driving gold up. I'm buying all the way up. That's the one thing. And you know what, guys? If you read any of the comments within my videos, I could turn this mini cam off here. We don't need that now. Let me see something. Is it? I go here. Now I'm playing around with this. You guys know how I get sidetracked. Squirrel! And now I gotta do now I gotta do this. Let's see. Let me bring this all the way down here. In case looking at my face once isn't enough, we want to do double. Let's see. No, we don't want that. Let's see if I put that down here. I disappear. Where's the thing that I'm looking for? Boom, 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 boom. It's gotta be lower than this. Wow, I have... Oh, there we go. Is this it? Gotta go right there? Nope. There? Yep. And now we gotta do this. You guys talk amongst yourself now, because now I'm like full on like doing that. That no, that didn't do what I wanted it to do. Actually. Alright, whatever. Picture in picture. I think the gold correction was this much. I'm trading scrap gold these days for maples at 1/100th. 1/100th what, bud? Is that plant real, guys? I don't think it is. No! That is not a real plant. Looks it. The gold correction will be upward, not downward. The thing is, if you guys... Oh, gold-silver ratio. The thing is, if you guys look at the comments, so many people say, man, I wish I had been buying gold sooner. Today, one person... What's up, Rec? One person, a regular on the channel, is like, dude, I wish I listened to you. The Stormtrooper just turned his head. It happens sometimes, Token. You keep watching it. The key is... Actually, should I turn the music off? You guys let me know. Is the music distracting or is it fine in the background? You let me know. A lot of people wish that they should have been stacking gold longer. And that's one of the benefits that a lot of us have, is that we continually buy. Just like Beard said, as long as you guys continually purchase gold over time, you'll be fine. He is loving where he is right now. Listen, I have friends who I've told about my channel for years. What's up, Matthew? For years. And, you know, once gold started to hit all-time highs, then they start paying attention. And I'm like, man, you should have listened. Even then, though, turn it off. LOLOLO on. All right, I'll turn it off, you big bald freak. What's up, Cobra? All right, I turned the music off. All right, Cobra, calm down. So, there are a lot of people, though, and I'm sure you guys have a ton of them in your lives that you tell about the importance of silver and gold, and it's just like talking to a wall. They just don't want to hear it. They don't understand it. They don't either care, or they say they don't have the money for it. I don't know what it is. There's a mental block. It's very quiet now, because now it's off. Don't make me mute you. And one of the frustrating things is all of us who know the value of metals, I'm sure some of you have tried so hard to tell people that they should buy precious metals, and they just you can lead a horse to water, you can't make it drink, essentially is the saying that applies here. No IQ, thank you for the super chat, bud. I appreciate it. So that's the thing. And it always seems that people tune in when gold is at all-time highs and it's in the news and stuff is happening. I mean, look at my channel. The last month, it's grown by 20,000 subscribers. That usually takes me about 3.5 years for that kind of growth. Granted, a couple things happened. Instead of one video a week and just that podcast style that I used to do, I went back. Those weren't getting views. My channel was essentially dead. I went back to the traditional style videos, hands and coins, and then me talking to the camera. And I've been doing 2 a week, and I've been releasing 2 to 3 shorts per day. So 2 a week plus 2 shorts a week. That's 16 pieces of content a week. Plus a live stream. So 17, we're talking like 17 videos. So that, in conjunction with all the crazy things that Metals have been doing, you get a lot more people tuning in. You've seen in the comments people saying like, you're coming up in my feed, etc. Metals are storage of buying power, same amount of face silver that bought a house in 1960 would buy one today. The ratio has gold extremely overvalued and should use caution. What's awesome is today I was doing a lesson about, so those of you that don't know, I'm a social studies teacher, 7th grade social studies teacher, and I just started the Civil War with my students, and today I got to bust out the Confederate notes that I have and Civil War tokens, and so I was showing it to them, and they were very interested in the value of the money back then as it applies to today. So I handed them like fractional notes, 10 cents. So they're like, oh, how much would this be worth today? Or like this $5 bill back then, how much would it be worth today? And it's, you know, it teaches them about inflation. And then some of them were talking about like, oh yeah, whenever I get change, because I was showing them the Civil War tokens, whenever I get change, I just throw it into the tip jar at a restaurant or, you know, at Dunkin' Donuts. And then that allows me to say to them, well, hold on, if you've got change, anything 1964 and older, dimes, quarters, and half dollars, look at them because there's actually 90% silver. They're worth more. And some of them end up going home. And then the next day they come and they tell me, oh, I found like, you know, $2.50 in junk silver or whatever. So it's kind of fun every once in a while to get into it with the kids. Hi, Cobra. Haven't been to your channel for a while. I'll check it again. Finn59 Shaw, you're not missing anything over there. Cobra's channel, you know, he's a really nasty ogre. He's like a British Shrek. He's a British Shrek. A giant Indian British Shrek. Oh, man. One time I was driving my son from school, and Cobra knows where this story's going, and Cobra and I FaceTime each other when we talk to each other. And I called him, and he just started talking to me in an Indian accent, and I was like, Cobra, my son's in the car. He's like, oh. And my son's like, who is that? I'm like, it's my personal IT guy. So when you take into account just buying power, silver is slightly under, but gold is significantly high. So curious too in the chat, how many of you are more into stacking gold or silver? In fact, let's do... Let's do this. All right, there we go. Start poll. Cobra's a great dude and a plonker, but a great guy. I would agree. So one of the things, and I'm going to probably make a video about this, and I was texting with Buddha about it, and I was talking to Cobra about it. And I think some of you brought this up in the Discord, talking about different series which abruptly ended, just completely abruptly ended. For example, The Simpsons. I haven't seen a coin from that series at all in a long time. Marvel ended at 9. Sant Punia. Thank you. The Marvel series ended after 9 superheroes were minted. Street Fighter, they only did 2 and then that ended. And then Cobra and I were talking about the Gangster series and how it took them, what, Cobra? 3 years before? Yeah, 3 years. The last one was the John Dillinger, and it was 2022. So they minted these, and then for 3 years they hadn't made them, and now they just announced the last in the series. Silver is the sleeping giant, but she's wild, unpredictable, and like a racehorse on PCP thrashing in the gates, ready to run. They always talked about gold buying a nice, sweet, decent pair of shoes and meal for 2. Not much change there. Token silver. Way undervalued, my friend, restricted by industry. So I'm going to try the challenge to stack your body weight in silver. 180 pounds is 2,625 ounces of silver. I did like 1,500 ounces, 1,000 ounces, something around there. And then I was just like, this is ridiculous. Too much silver. What about the chess pieces? Yeah, chess pieces too. What did they leave off with? The bishop? I don't remember how many they've done. You mean like the mobster series that started and then stopped? Nobody was buying them, Buddha. And then they were selling for way below the cost. If people kept buying them, I would keep on making them. But I'm not going to keep on making them when they were costing me like $260 just to make one. And then nobody's buying it. And like they buy it at $130. Yeah, but you would buy 1 or 2. But that's cost prohibitive if I just make... You have 4 Capones? The Willy Wonka Golf. Gold bars now comps at around $1,275 a bar. And I was selling those at like $430, I think. It's $430-ish. When gold goes up, and it changes the value equation, focusing more on simple silver, though, although weakness for semi-numismatic, have to always remember to stack rounds, eagles, maples, Brits versus others. So if you watch my videos, like the gold and stuff, I would say about a third or maybe like a little over a third are buffaloes, and then the rest are like kind of collectible coins. But this is the other thing I was talking to Buddha and Cobra about the other day, that if you're somebody that was buying gold coins and collecting a series like a lot of us were doing with like the Spanish doubloons, some of us were buying the 1 ounce pieces. If gold continues to climb in value, it's very hard for a lot of us to justify the cost, because let's just take a look at this for a second. Let me do this. You go and find bullionprices.com, go to gold. Let's just look at gold eagles for a second. Oh, we want to put this up here. All right, let's do this. Above that. There we go. Gold 1 ounce coins. 1 ounce gold eagles. Takes a while to get past this part here. All right. Whatever. Monument, bullion exchanges. 33. Let's look at bullion exchanges. 33.83. Right? We go to their site. So e-check. And that's like, guys, always remember, if you're looking at anything, whether it's fine bullion prices or whatever, this is always their like best price, but it's always their volume discount price. Always. So when you see something like this, always remember it's going to be a lot more than that. It's usually going to be like if you buy 10 or more or whatever. So we look here, right? And that's, look, if you're buying 100, $33.93. So this isn't even 100% accurate. You guys have been getting good prices with me. So $3,400. $3,400 for a gold eagle. So if you're going to buy like the gold, like it's the Calabrian bear in June, let's just pretend gold stays where it is. There's going to be more of a premium on that piece, so it's maybe $3,450. $34.75 is going to be my guess. If gold just stays where it is. But if gold goes up more, then obviously it's going to be like $3,600 or something like that. And it's very difficult to justify spending $3,600 on a piece that's got more of a mintage like that. So I don't know. I pulled the trigger on the flowing hair, but yeah. So Buddha says, I think gold collectibles will only make sense in quarter and tenths. Yep. Just a few years ago, one of my favorite pesos of Dos, they were 115, and now they're about 190 bucks. I'm still buying gold and silver. Would you really pay 3,800 for a Truth Series 1 ounce gold coin? What's the Truth Series? Truth Series. You mean the Queen's Virtues? What's the Truth Series, Buddha? Queen's Virtues. If that's what you mean, that's another series that you haven't seen in a while. SD Bullion. Oh, the religious coin? No. I know they do the Truth Series, so they've got Hebrew on it. You got the flowing hair at a great entry point price, only going to climb. What have you been selling a 1/10 ounce links at? I've sold out of those. Choking Ghost, hello! Lion, sword, tree, and ram. So I did look at the lion. The lion looked great, but that was expensive. That was expensive. Choking Ghost, good to see you. I'm noticing at 1/100th and 1/200th size gold rounds being sold now, but premiums are crazy for them. How small is too small in your opinion? I think anything below like a 20th of an ounce. In fact, somebody recently was trying to buy a gram gold, and I think that when you multiply out the price of 1 gram out by 31.1, or what is it, 31 point... What is the exact number for a troy ounce, guys? 31.1? You multiply it out, it ends up coming out to be so much more than a 20th of an ounce. And then, so much more than the 10th ounce. So as you get heavier in weight, the less expensive it is. So I would say now, really, 2 pesos is definitely the lowest in size that you want to go. If you're looking to buy grams, sometimes I could sell them to you, but I would recommend only going with 20th, which is similar to like a 2 pesos. Don't go any lower. Don't go any lower than that. I like the 10th for fractional. Yeah, well, 10th is going to be a lot more popular now for the people that want to stack their gold. And the 10th ounce stuff, the issue, and I was talking to Cobra and Buddha about this too, is that you want to collect a series. So let's think about the kookaburras, or let's talk about the Spanish doubloons for like the wildlife, right? The issue is they're hard to see. So you're buying that 1/10 ounce coin, and yeah, you could see it, but you don't really get to see the details as well. The best thing I would think is if they do 1/4 ounce sizes. In 1/4 ounce sizes, that would be the best bet. Go with the 1/4 ounce. Still like more affordable than the 1 ounce, and 1/4 ounce is a sweet spot. Brass Junkie is exactly right. Kanita Warrior, hello. Good to see you. Become a member. Thank you. But yeah, I think it would be nice to see if they do the Spanish doubloon series in 1/4 ounce sizes. I'm buying the metal, not the design. Just me. No, listen, Choking Ghost. a lot of people will just buy, the cheapest possible. So if you're looking to do the cheapest gold possible, then you're looking at scrap gold, gold jewelry. Also, I don't like these, but some people do. When you're looking at the commemorative quarter-ounce gold coins, the quarter-ounce gold coins, those are arguably the cheapest quarter-ounce that you can buy here in the United States. Token Dave sells. My LCS sells 1/10 for 7 to 10% premium and then buys at 3%, losing 4 to 7%. I hate fractional. But Token, you have to remember too. You have to remember a couple things, right? First of all, you're looking to unload the gold. How are you going to do that the fastest with the least hassle? Are you going to try to find a person on the internet to buy it from you? Haggle over the price, etc., or you can take it to a coin shop or we buy gold type of place, and you could just sell it, liquidate it, and you're done. You don't have to worry about meeting somebody in a parking lot somewhere, something shady. You get your money and you're done. The person that's buying it from you, the local coin shop or the business, now they're the ones that are going to end up having to liquidate it. Either they're going to have to hold on to it or they're going to have to sell it to the refiner. Most of the time, they're going to quickly lock in the price, sell it to the refiner. So a lot of times what they're doing is they're going to look at their wholesaler or the refiner, or they'll think of somebody that they know, but they're going to look at the prices that they're going to get paid. So if you walked in and they're like, okay, I'm going to get paid X on this, then I'm going to offer the person this much. There's a small margin in which that they operate. So you have to keep that in mind. They need to make money too. Also, not everyone can drop $3,000 on a full ounce. Coin shows too, Token. Yep. Breast Drunky, always good to see you. Randy Matthews. I forget what came up recently. I think one of the Bucket Brats cards, Brass Junkie, the saber-toothed water donkey. I forget where that came up in a conversation. But the saber-toothed water donkey is a classic. Classic, I tell you. Quarter ounce to me is still the sweet spot. I feel like going forward, I don't know if I have any of them laying around. Going forward, for collectible gold, I'm probably going to be moving into quarter ounces myself. What's up, Duke? Good to see you. He's home now, ready to hang out. Quarter ounce gold, I think, is a sweet spot. Nobody buys, what do you call it? Nobody buys a half ounce. I never see people buying half ounce. Started with Constitutional and went to rounds and some collector stuff in silver. Canito, that seems to always be the way. What premium for quarter ounce gold should we shoot for? Let's see. Depends on the piece. So just so you know, Token, couple of the wholesalers that I work with, okay, they're charging around a 6% markup to me, the dealer. 6%. So if they're charging me 6%, all right, then what am I going to be at? 8%, 9% over spot? So when you go to a local coin shop, one of the benefits that you have going to a local coin shop is that they can buy stuff over the counter cheaper, as you had made the comment. Right? Sometimes they beat you up. So they'll buy stuff over the counter from somebody. Somebody comes in, they really need the money, and they could sense it. You have somebody, and that's gone up recently. Yes, 6%. I don't know if it's gone up recently. It's been about the same. I'm noticing that premiums, though, the premiums have come down quite a bit because the gold prices are so high. Demand starts to drop off, And so how do the businesses sell? They've got to lower their premiums, and they start battling with each other. They lower the premiums. They get closer and closer to spot. Problem is for you is that when they get closer to spot, they have to offer you less than they normally would. Maybe they would have offered you spot in the past. Now they're going to be 2 to 3% below spot. That premium window is going to continually slide up and down. And then we're looking at 10th ounce around a 10% over spot, depending. 9 to 10%. My cost. That's my cost. What it would have cost me to buy from the wholesaler, because I'm looking at the rates right now. What do you think about platinum? So, Jonathan, I've said so many times, I don't even mess with platinum. I never pay attention to platinum. The only platinum I own is my wedding band. Never pay attention to platinum. I've only been paying attention to silver and gold. It's just a metal that's never interested me. Why? I don't know. It's just, I've never dealt platinum, never bought and sold it. I didn't care for it. I've always just kind of stuck with silver and gold. I understand it more. I'm buying tulips. Does it matter gold or silver, or should we still keep them separated? You should own both. I have a video that's going to be dropping within the next week or two. Like any portfolio, you should have a range of different items in your overall portfolio, which you all know. But when it comes to metals, right, 10 to 15%. Thanks so much, Steve C. 10 to 15% of your overall net worth seems to be what people say you should own in precious metals. Of that 15%, just like if you were to own stocks, you're not going to have all of your money in one particular stock. So in your metals, you want to have a range of different metals, and of those metals, you want different types. So for gold, for example, as you know, and a few of you have been saying, like, you just stack for the weight. So you want the cheap stuff. So you want just gold bars in the assay cards, and maybe heavier gold if you can't afford it. That way you avoid those premiums. And you want to go with like the cheap stuff, right? So go with like Krugerrands or something. Even though I'm not a huge fan of Krugerrands, go with like the cheaper gold. But then you want some more like investment grade gold. So like slabbed and graded. Give me a second here. All right, so slabbed and graded. Numismatic stuff. Right? PCGS slabbed pre-33. Right? Because now you're talking like investment grade stuff. Right? Yeah, you guys are slacking on the likes. So buying slabbed and graded stuff is good because this stuff holds value to the collectors. Right? And then same thing with silver. You buy the bigger bars to get the weight. You buy some semi-numismatic pieces. So that way you get a little bit of a premium. Plus, let's be honest. This is one of those strange hobbies in which you're saving money, but you're also watching your value grow. So you buy something like this. Right? It keeps things interesting. 10-ounce Han Solo and Carbonite. It's a 10-ounce bar. So you got the value of just the silver, but then it's actually a coin. But you got the value of the collectible aspect. We all saw what the gold the Death Star has done. Imagine this in gold. Right? This is a coin. Right? There's the seal of Niue down there. So you want to have a range of stuff. You don't want to just have one type of item. Pre-33 gold is good to have. Silver, junk silver, even though I don't like it. Don't buy junk silver for the SHTF reason. I think that's a load of BS. Thumbs up, thanks you guys. I even buy silver shot. getting light reflections. Yeah, I know. I have to like hold my hand up behind it. There's a lot of different lights going on here. My coin club preaches to only buy gold minted where you live for resale. America, Eagles, Buffalo makes sense. Token, yes, I agree in that wherever you live in your nation, those coins are going to sell more because they are more popular because that's what people in your country buy. So yes, I would agree with your coin club. Britannia's in the UK, Maples in Canada, etc. Pre-33, I love it. I only buy graded though. Token, I think also that is key. I've also said that. So some of you that said you like to buy gold cheap, going with what Token and I think it was Canito, or maybe it was somebody else, forgive me. But yeah, I've talked about this and I kind of learned the hard way. So you could buy the pre-33, and I'm sorry it's not focusing because I'm back here too, but you could buy the pre-33 slabbed and graded, right? You got my monitors too, so it's not going to really focus. So this is an MS65 St. Gaudens. All right. And there we go. High grade MS65. And you could buy this raw, but it's going to be a lot more expensive in a slab. You buy it raw, it's going to be a lot cheaper. So some people might be like, oh, you know what? I'm going to buy the pre-33 raw or cleaned. Don't buy it cleaned ever, guys. I don't care how good of a price you can get. Skip on the cleaned stuff. Skip on the stuff that used to be in a bezel and has been torn out of the gold necklace, and you can see like a little bit of the edge is all kinked up or whatever. Forget that stuff. The stuff with the abrasions, forget that stuff. Let that go to the refiner and let them melt it down. The coins of your realm, says No IQ. Exactly. The problem with buying pre-33 stuff raw and ungraded is when it comes time for you to sell it, there's going to be back and forth. Somebody's going to say, that's not, possibly an MS62. This looks like it's been circulated. And you're like, what are you talking about? This is beautiful condition. There's going to be a lot of back and forth. If it's slabbed and graded, like Token is saying, slabbed and graded, there's no argument. It is what it is. You look in the gray sheet, you look in the red book, that's the value. It is what it is. No cleaned, even if half of spot. I mean, if it's cleaned and it's half of spot, then you could take it somewhere else and sell it and make a profit, I guess. But I still wouldn't. Jewelry grade not good unless you can get it below melt. Duke, that's for sure. I like interesting metal, but to me, real collectors look for different mints and other crazy stuff. What did I miss that Duke said? I have to scroll up. I have vintage Russian gold. That'd be cool. I bought the 1 ounce silver pewpew. Yeah, I've got the 2 ounce pewpew, the first of the series that came out. Collecting versus stacking dilemma. That's why the most of your stuff should be a stack. Is the price difference between raw and graded enough to justify getting a raw coin graded? It depends on how good the coin looks, Duke. You have to factor in... First of all, you have to know about grading. You have to have a good eye for that. I don't care to spend time looking at a lot of different coins and trying to figure out the grades. I don't have the time for that. Not my wheelhouse. So I will 1 second, choking, because I love that topic. So you would have to, first of all, know how good the coin is. Then you would have to kind of figure, all right, if I buy it for X amount, you look in the gray sheet or the red book, how much is it going to be worth if it comes in at an MS63? How much is it going to cost you to send it in? And then you got to look at the difference in the value. And then what are you going to do with it? Are you going to just go and flip it and sell it? I mean, some people are really good at this stuff. They could do well, but you have to know what you're looking for. And then you have to be able to, shell out the money, buy the coin, See if it's going to maybe grade for something better than what you think it is. Send it in, get it back, and then flip it. So, Choking Ghost, elaborate on my opinion on the 90% BS. So here's the thing, and I've noticed this. A lot of the online retail companies, or you might even have people within the stacking community. I mean, I've seen a lot of people talk about this stuff, saying that 90% junk silver is going to help you in an SHTF scenario. I think, personally, if there ever was an SHTF scenario, I don't think people would be taking Kennedy half dollars and Roosevelt dimes and Mercury dimes and Barbara quarters and going to the town square trying to buy chickens and a loaf of bread. It's not going to happen. I mean, could it happen? I mean, I guess anything's possible, right? Lightning can strike where you stand. You could get attacked by a shark. I mean, anything can possibly happen. But I don't think that 90% bartering for goods and services with 90% junk silver, I do not see that happening. If there was like an SHTF scenario, I think if anything, you know, you would have, and I've never lived in an apocalyptic era, so what the hell do I know? But this is just my opinion. I think that, you know, people would be using the currency, the dollars or whatever here in the United States or wherever you are, they'd be using that for a little while or whatever. And then ultimately, maybe it would go to jewelry, or you would just be trading stuff like, all right, give me that, you know, those 3 rolls of toilet paper, and I'll give you these 4 bottles of water. I think, personally, 90% silver, when people say SHTF scenarios, it's like, whatever. I personally don't think that you're going to see people buying and trading things with junk silver to keep a country and an economy continuing on. I think people would just trade stuff. I think if anything, they would probably end up just coming out with like another paper money. But I just don't see people using junk silver. So I think SHTF has invested aggressive online deals. Yes, so Duke Nukem, this is kind of what I think. It's a fear tactic. I've had this happen before, and I was able to record it a couple of times, where a company will try to call you up and sell you, a salesperson will try to sell you junk silver, and they will say, you know, what if the power grid goes down or the economy collapses? You're going to wish that you had silver coins that people know what the value is, and you'll be able to use that as money and blah, 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 blah. And I think it's a scare tactic. 90% silver, I think people should be buying for a couple of things. Collecting, if it's a good piece, get it slabbed and graded like a Morgan or a Peace Dollar, or you could get like other stuff, barbers and stuff like that, great. Or a cheap way to accumulate silver. That's it. SHTF, I don't think that that's a valid argument. I've never lived in an apocalyptic era, so I don't know. I can't say for sure. But the people that are telling you you're going to need it in an apocalypse, they've also never lived in an apocalyptic era like Mad Max, where they think that this is how the world is going to operate. Token says numismatic value only. I agree. And scare tactic makes sense. You know, and the other thing too with 90% silver, Choking Ghost, is that it's been for a long time one of the cheaper ways in which you can buy silver. However, recently I picked some up, and it was like 28 times face. I remember back in the day, it was like 10 times face. And I saw a video come up on my channel from maybe like 4 years ago, where I was showing junk silver, and I was saying, yeah, I just give this stuff away as thank yous. Now that stuff is too expensive just to give away as thank yous. Kanita Warrior says, I enjoy your channel. Thank you so much. I have a ton of 90%, but I'll eventually refine it in silver cell and turn it into 999 fine bars. Listen, I think that that's a good way to go. Token Dave, can I do... Let's see. I might have to switch over to the main screen. Oh, wait. Hold on. We gotta Google gobble him. So Token Dave, what you need to do, email me, stormy@empirepreciousmetals.com, and I will give you an invitation to my private Discord. All right? So email me, stormy@empirepreciousmetals.com. Stormy@empirepreciousmetals.com. Email me. If you email me now, I can get you the Discord link right now. You never know what will go up in value later, even if you hate the looks of it. True. I can make moonshine very easily and great beer. A little more skill, but not hard. Those can be bartered. Absolutely, Finn59 Shaw. But that's exactly right. That's a point that I'm trying to make. In a apocalyptic world, you might find a guy named Finn59 Shaw who's like 2 blocks down. Oh, Finn, he's got beer and he's got, whiskey and what have you. Somebody who's going to want beer, they'll go down there and they'll trade with Finn. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's how I would view an apocalyptic era things operating. I don't think people are going to be like using silver. And then also, right, we talked about this earlier. If you are able to cough up extra dough for a low vintage piece, such as this, right, the flowing hair, something like that, that could do well in the secondary market. The one thing, and this might end up being redundant for some of you guys because there will be a video. I have 5 uploaded and scheduled. I just don't remember which one. But there will be a video talking about some of these types of collectible pieces that are good, but you have to focus on the hype of the piece. Because sometimes hype dies down. I talked about it in a recent video. And once the hype dies down, then you're kind of out of luck with those pieces. So I'm trying to think of some pieces that came out, and I told people sell in the hype. Oh, I don't know if Cobra is still here. Is Cobra still here? I don't know, Manny. I don't know when they're coming. A lot of stuff right now is on delay. But I did order at least a tube of those because they're pretty. So Cobra Stacker, for example, guys, he collects all of the orange and green trading coins. All right. In fact, it's going to take a while to untangle the last 4 years of the corrupt Biden administration. Settled done. America will be a much better place, and everybody will have a much better life. One can only hope. If I go to NewZealandMint.com, let's do a quick display capture here. All right, Agoro Collectibles. Right here. Get out of here. All right, see the trading coins here, guys? Star Wars original. Get out of here. Couple of issues with this, which I'll get into. No, I don't want your notifications. Beat it. All right, so here's the issue that I have with this product. I got killed in Agoro Collectibles. All right, so here's what Buddha's saying, and I'm telling freaking Cobra to listen to me, and he's not listening to me. Here's the deal. All right, so as you know, I teach, and I have the precious metals business on the side that I deal. Star Wars, first trading coin series that came out. Expensive entry point. It was like $300 for 2 1-ounce silver pieces. I said, who the hell is going to buy this thing? I didn't touch it with the 10-foot pole. It sold out like crazy. Like crazy. Yes, Ronnie, give me a second. Remind me, Ronnie, I'll answer your question after I talk about this. Sold out like crazy, and I'm like, oh my god, crap. I missed out on a product. I misjudged the market. I thought this was going to be way too expensive. Nobody's going to buy it, and it sold out. I missed the boat. Luckily, my relationships with a couple of my wholesalers, I'm a good customer. They're like, we could get you some in the next round, okay? So the second release, the Marvel trading coins. I was able to pick up like 15 boxes, maybe. I sold them for a ridiculously low price compared to what they were going for. I made money, good money on them still. And then the people that bought them, they did okay on them. And some people got some expensive pieces. And they did very well. New Zealand Mint started to pay attention that the secondary market, they were making so much money that New Zealand Mint was leaving money on the table. Third release in the series, New Zealand Mint goes to the wholesalers and they say, all right, you know what? We're not giving you as many. No, we were wholesaling the majority of these items and only retailing. Now we're going to give you less. So what happens? Wholesalers now cut down on their allocations to the dealers. And me as the dealer, then I have to cut down my allocations to you, the retail customers. And that continued to happen. Every release, less and less and less, until it got to the point where now I think what Agoro did on this was some sort of like lottery ticket system, maybe? I forget what they did with this. So here's the thing. What they're doing here is what you're seeing with a lot of the precious metals industry doing. They are making a manufactured supply and demand for a product. They are, and it's smart move. It's like one of the oldest tricks in the book. They'll make only 10 of these gold coins. They'll make 20 of these gold gilded purple ones. They'll make only maybe 50 of the reds, right? So they do this. They are creating the market, limited collectability on some of these things. And so what they're going to end up doing, all right, is they're going to sell those products majority on retail now. And Cobra got lucky and he did score one of the quarter-ounce gold coins and he sold it to a collector for $20,000 US. I believe it was 20,000. He sold it. He crushed it. But as Buddha's saying, it's like gambling. And that's one of the things I'm going to talk to you too about in just a second about auctions. But to answer Ronnie Casares, yes, they recently came out with some silver coins that were the 20 pesos design, but they were silver, not gold. So I was able to pick up a tube of those, which I'm pretty excited about. And then JB, short-term gains on precious metals. It depends on the precious metals. I would say 25%. That's pretty good. Right now, it's worse, in my opinion. The other thing, too, is now a lot of these auctions that you'll see on Whatnot, Instagram, etc. And also incorrect, JB. A lot of people are running games. I don't run games, but it's a lot of just games of chance. You put $15, $20 in, 10 spots. They put up a $100 coin. They're pocketing $100, and you guys get 10, 15 bucks. Premier Rare Coins, what's going on? So JB, guys, Premier Rare Coins, big channel over on Instagram. Big. Check them out. So JB just says, nobody cares about these special coins. Do yourself a favor and buy US gold coins. So JB, completely incorrect. There is a huge market for collectibles, just like there is for anything else. Pokemon, sports cards, comic books, huge market. I'm not here for emotional support. I'm here to tell you the truth. Listen, everything has its purpose. I don't need emotional support. I'm a dealer and I tell people all the time, the collectible stuff, you're buying that for the collectible value. If you're looking to stack, you're looking to buy the cheap stuff as low as possible. But a lot of these items, especially with mass appeal like Star Wars or with Marvel or highly recognizable licensed products, there is a big demand. So you couldn't be more wrong, JB. And you know what? If you're a dealer and you've sold millions of dollars worth of coins like I have, then please, by all means, share with me what you've sold and what you've bought and how you've done to prove me wrong. But again, a lot of the collectible pieces, they do have purpose. Should you be buying only collectible pieces? Definitely not. People that jump into my auctions for the first time and they're like, I'm new to sacking. I tell them, do not buy the high collectible priced stuff. Start with the generic bars, bulk stuff, buy the cheap stuff. The collectible stuff you buy once you start getting into it and you start knowing the value of these things. Buddha says some collectibles hit big, some tank. Absolutely. What's up, Star Stacker is here. Good to see you. Ewoks give me emotional support. I have 3 10th-ounce gold coins I bought in 2018, and I'm glad I bought them back then. Premier says there's tons of fun collectible stuff that has great historical stories, too, that makes the high-end numismatic world a little more approachable for the common collector. Absolutely. Sale for a Hordian, hello? How much was a Death Star? Curious on the premium. All right, so here's the thing. This Death Star coin. All right? Thank you, Salman Khan, for subscribing. This is, what did we say? This is 300 grams? About 8 ounces. I sold this for about 25% below the retail price that New Zealand Mint was selling them for. I don't remember off the top of my head the exact price on them. And JB, I respect yours as well. Give me 1 second, JB, because I'm going to lose my train of thought. Some of the collectible pieces like those, they do very well. I don't remember what the premium was on that, but it was like maybe $60. Actually, you know what? I have a spreadsheet. I can look this up. Let me look this up. Prop list. Give me 1 second. I can actually look. I think I have this here. Death Star. The only issue is I don't recall. All right, here it is. Death Star silver coin. Cost was $675, and it was like 8.5 ounces. $675. Let's do the math, guys. And this was back then. I don't remember what it was. So $675 divided by 8.5, $80 an ounce. Now, if we go on eBay, let's see. I haven't checked this thing out. 300 gram Death Star silver coin. They made 100 grammers, and then they made one mega big fat one a while ago, but it's like the size of like a softball. Sold items. All right, so what did I say? $675. All right, JB, check this out. If you're still here, JB, $1,500 is the most recent comp sold price. So when you're saying there's no, the collectible stuff has no purpose, this is just showing you some things have a purpose. This being one of them. So I paid $675 for mine, and now the most recent sold price is double, more than double on that particular piece. But again, you have to know what you're buying, and you have to be careful because you could get screwed. Here's a flat one. These are the flat ones. We're looking for the sphere. $1,750. There's another one. $1,750. So $1,500. That guy got lucky because just March 3rd, somebody paid $1,750 on that one. Right? So the collectible pieces have value as long as you know what you're getting into. And that's why I say Star Wars, Marvel, stuff like that. The collectible pieces do well. But then there was somebody who had asked another question, and then I forgot what it was. But JB, some of the stuff though, dude, again, you could get screwed, and it's happened to me. Hair's looking great, Empire. At the end of the day, it's a little out of control. Some of the stuff, though, JB, I've taken a loss on. Like when you're looking at stuff like this type of piece, like a 2-ounce silver, 2-ounce silver water squirter. Death Stars appropriately named, especially when it comes to your money. Listen, again, some people can do well with them. Good to see you, Harvester. Most of the stuff I buy for myself, I take a loss on just because I like it and want it in the moment. But Premier Rare Coins, you too, just trying to learn on precious metals. Harvester, you came to the good place. Guys, Premier Rare Coins, and forgive me, Premier, if I talk out of turn, but they really, really, really know numismatics. And you're talking like old school stuff, high grade stuff, high premium, but high grade stuff, highly collectible stuff. So the reason I have no problem saying check out Premier Rare Coins is because that's not my wheelhouse. Premier Rare Coins, definitely check them out if you're ever looking to get into that type of numismatic field, those products. Harvester, we're happy to have you, being that you're new, learning about precious metals and stacking. There's so much to learn. 8.1 million bucks. See? There's a room for collectible pieces. Coyote is here. What's up, sausage head? Comsco, thoughts token. Comsco has some cool pieces. You're talking about like the different swords and things like that. Comsco has some good pieces. Harvester, that's YouTube. YouTube does, that's a monthly thing through YouTube. So it's $1.99 per month, bud. But Harvester, you join and you can get an invitation into my Discord, and then you're pretty much in there for life. Watchmen says, newbies like me are subscribing to YouTube channels to learn more. So, Watchmen, Harvester, just so you guys know, when I started my channel, I was fairly new to stacking. I had a good understanding of stacking to a degree, but, you know, I kind of got into precious metals, and I got into doing the YouTube because it was more... It was a bigger way to get into the stacking community and learn more. And you do learn more when you create content. But if you watch my channel, like early videos, while they're very cringy, you can kind of see how the channel has grown over time in terms of just knowledge, production value. And I didn't set out to be buying and selling silver and gold. That's just something that I kind of fell into. Sausage head, he's laughing at. I don't have time to list everything on an auction and then take the risk of getting ripped off at an auction. I don't have those connections. I deal with my local coin dealers and keep it simple. JB, if go play back some of my recent auctions, you'll see some stuff is just sold at spot. Semi-numismatic stuff. And JB, I pull up eBay comps showing people how much the stuff has sold for recently, and some of the stuff I sell sells for way low that I take losses. I'm telling you now, JB, why I'm not in a disagreement with you, and I've had conversations with Buddha, is a lot of the collectible stuff that I had, some of the stuff, especially right now, the collectible market has been harder to sell, which is a buying opportunity for people like you. Turbo Damsel, Ghost in the Past. Look at it. Turbo Dirty Shorts. She remembers when I got my start. I'm glad I found this channel. I look forward to the Discord chat. Gotta run. Oh, Token, did you email me? Did you email me? YouTube's the new frontier, just like the internet was back in the 90s. I like your Band-Aid. I had to go to a friend's house and feed their pets. And I was carrying their packages in, and I scraped my thumb on the door. Let me go into my Discord. Yeah, Harvester, if you Donate $5. Yeah, I could get you a Discord link. Just know, Harvester, if you show up on the auctions, you're not going to be able to bid on them unless you're an actual active member. Let me go into my email. But yeah, I could get you a Discord link. Token, I didn't get an email from you. Empire, what do you think will happen to gold over the time about tariffs and stuff? Listen, I would be a multi-millionaire if I can tell you what's going to happen. If I had to guess, what I think will happen, right? If we do see stability in all of the tariff talks and we see actual deals on trade, then we're going to see a stabilization in the markets. And then when there's stability and there's no uncertainty, then you'll see the price of metals cool off, drop down. And that happened recently when we saw the potential discussion of a deal with China. Stock market goes up, gold comes down. If we see tariffs continue the way that they're going, no end in sight, then you'll see prices of gold and precious metals continue to rise. So that's what I think would happen. If there's turmoil, Asian stacker, hold on a second. Guys, let's give this guy a wrench. One of the few stackers that I've actually met in person. Let us wrench Asian stacker. Add as a moderator. But we got to do this right. We got to do this right, guys. We gotta really give him. Where the hell is the? Here we go.
And here we see the Queen getting ready to knight the newest moderator. Now the Queen has to take her time so she doesn't stumble or trip. And maybe just a few more paces. Any moment now. Any moment. Oh, for the love of God, somebody please hurry her up. I mean, by the time she gets to the guy, he's gonna be dead. Oh, wait, she's almost there. And there we go. Our newest moderator in the Bucket Brigade.
Very important ceremony, all right? Moment of silence while Asian stacker gets knighted. But yeah, Harvester, if you cheaper for you, Harvester, do the $1.99 membership, and then I can shoot you the link to join the Discord. Can't be silent laughing. Don't you have some tests to score, says Eric? What's up, Eric? Good to see you. I've watched you for a long time, and you do work hard. I really enjoyed the videos you did with the guy from New York. JB, which guy? You talking to Andrew, the bald guy? He's from New Jersey. He's not far from me. So there's Andrew, who's the bald guy. Steve, who's like, he looks like an ex-state trooper with the mustache. I call him Mustache Steve. He's also New Jersey. And then there is Tim. And Tim was from Vermont. Next stream is going to be next Wednesday, Harvester. And JB, I really do appreciate your support, bud. And I like that, JB, you and I are able to disagree on some things, and you're not a troll or a jerk about it. So that is very much appreciated. I find too often, the second you have any disagreement with somebody, they get nasty, and they're like, I'm unsubbing. And they're like, your channel's a joke. Like, they get all nasty. And I appreciate that you're still here. What are we watching? You were watching Asian Stacker becoming a moderator. Very important. Harvester, I will say, being in the Discord is also going to help you learn, because a lot of the people that are in here right now are usually active in the Discord, more active than me. And if you have questions, they're gonna be in there, and they'll be able to answer your questions. They're a lot more active than I am. Just ignore the haters. That happens to every YouTube channel. I know. You should see the stuff I wake up to, the comments I get, and a lot of the times I just block them. The few that Time me out with your newfound power. Do it. Give in to the hatred. The very few trolls that can get under my skin and get me to respond to them are the people that think they know what they're talking about and they don't. Those are the ones that I tend to go at. Ooh, Chinese does sound good. I'm unsubbing. Randy, you're such a jerk. You're a real hurtful fellow. You're a real hurtful fellow. Hurtful. You always have to pay the troll toll to get in the boy's soul. I'm throwing a pie at Randy. Now I can't put Asian Stacker in timeout. Also, once in a while, I do have sales in the Discord, and I'm always priced lower than a lot of the dealers online, if not all of them. Harvester, you don't have to get into, stranger danger, but you want to tell me around which part of New Jersey. I'm in Central. Where are you? And Central is a thing now. I'm just curious. So Asian stackers from Central Jersey as well. North Jersey, I used to live in North Jersey. I grew up in Bergen County. I also lived in Middlesex County. I lived in Morris County. And now I'm in Monmouth County. So I've lived in several parts of New Jersey. Any other questions that you guys have while we're still here? But Harvester, you can always email me to stormy@empirepreciousmetals.com. I'm waiting to sell some silver. I will unload some. Yeah, Yeah, Andrew, New York, New Jersey, same old, same old. We're not the same. New York and New Jersey's not the same. Next week's going to be an auction or a podcast. It's probably... Oh, Coyote, thank you so much. Much appreciated, bud. We got to do the... Got to do one of these for you. Appreciate the generosity. Let's throw some money around. I forgot I was still on this screen. You may have talked about this somewhere, but at what point does buying a Sigma machine matter? Depends on how big your stack is. No, Star Stacker. South Jersey for no IQ. Don't insult me like that, says Eric. I also lived in New York. I lived in the Bronx. Believe it or not. And New York City. And Syracuse. Right outside Syracuse, New York. So I lived in few parts of New York as well. How about them apples? If all of your metals have been purchased from reputable places and they were tested before you got them, or you got them from like a big bullion dealer online, then you should be fine. You don't necessarily need the Sigma. But I will say this. Those of you that are looking to get Sigmas. All right. I have the Pro. And to be honest with you, the only reason I got this stupid thing is because Silver Dragons essentially... No IQ, thank you. You did not need to do that. Thank you so much, No IQ. Very much appreciated. Silver Dragons is like, hey, bro, how you going to be a precious metals dealer without a Pro? He's like, I got one. I'm like, you freaking bastard. All right, fine. So I coughed up the money and I bought this thing. $2,500. But I have a discount, guys. A discount link in my description. In order, if you want to buy a Sigma Metalytics machine. Star Stacker, you crazy beast. Thank you so much. So if you guys are looking to buy the Sigma, right, I've got a discount code in the description. And this is the Pro. I don't think your average stacker, you don't necessarily need that. And to be honest with you, I kind of like the one below it, the regular one. It's a lot easier to use. I also didn't bother buying the wands that come with this. That go with the the bridge, I should say. You could buy a bridge that allows you to allows you to test bars, big thick bars. I didn't do that because I don't deal with big bars. So Premier says I like the mini one. The mini for me, is it the mini Premier? The one that's like about this big. There's like a mini which is small, but then there is like one that's like around $1,200, $1,300. That's the one I recommend. How hard is it to get a fair price to sell graded coins? Would you recommend I take my collection to a coin show? I don't want to deal with eBay. All right. Couple things. Full disclosure, I've never been to a coin show. Why? I have a lot of sources that I deal with remotely as it is. I've never felt the need to go to a coin show, although I will be going to one probably in May. Randy, you might meet me there. But I typically will buy from my wholesalers, and I deal with local coin shops quite a bit where I get good prices. eBay, you're going to be paying like a 13% on the sale of your item, unless you have a store, which I think is 8 or 9%. And I personally don't want to sell on eBay either. So you could go to a coin show and take your piece there and just walk around and be like, how much could you give me for this? And just shop it around. Absolutely. eBay, you might end up just sitting there for a long time. And it's a pain in the neck. Corey Kunkel, what's going on? What shows are you going to? I like to hit every major. So Philadelphia, they just had their second annual one this last year. Silver Bridges, what's going on, pal? I was thinking about you the other day. Was it today or yesterday? And I'm trying to think of what it was. And I was going to call you. I think it was yesterday. And there was a reason. It was probably some smart-ass thing. Or maybe, you know what it was? Because I was buying... She doesn't like the mini. I think I was buying another share of VOO a couple days ago. But there was something that came up into my head, and it made me think of you. I was like, I need to call Bridges, because I know you would have laughed. And then I forgot what it was, or I got sidetracked and I forgot. Sold a lot on eBay. The fees are not the only problem. Their shipping charges are not always correct, and I got double charged many times. VOO is my gold stack. Listen, AA, I think that's so smart. Sigmas are expensive. Maybe someday. Create Craft, you could always do like a pocket pinger. Less expensive. There's a link in my description. Although I think you won one. Didn't you win one from me? But Premier, I might go to the Philadelphia one in May. Let me know if you're going to go to that. So, NGC or PCGS, I've never sent things in for grading. I will always just buy the stuff graded. I typically have found that more people like PCGS than NGC. It just seems to be what the preference is. But both are reputable, as many of you know. And the one thing, though, I did see the issue with NGC screwing up some of the Wolverine era coins that a friend of mine sent in, and they screwed them up really bad. Might have to try and arrange to get together for channel members at the show. That could be cool. Maybe I will. Randy, it's been a year, dude. May is coming up. I'd be down to go as well for May, Asian says. Maybe we'll carpool. Maybe we'll go down there together. As long as you're not a weirdo. I mean, I met you the one time we talked on Instagram, but I like, if you get in the car, are you going to like smell like cheese? Or are you going to like say really weird random things? I'm like, I don't know about this guy. I don't know. Maybe I'll just meet you there. I bid on $1.30 face value and won. The seller sent me $2.85 face value. That's what happened, and I didn't leave. And I think the seller might sent me the wrong win. Yeah, most likely they did. I smell like Taylor Ham. PCGS Labs are way cleaner. NGC does more typed coins. PCGS doesn't really do shipwrecks, so we grade all of ours through NGC. Smells like cheese. NGC for me when I have a choice. Or a hand on the leg. Yeah, Beard, that would be weird too. He'd be like, hey, do you like my new Rolex? And he puts his hand on my knee. You see the car pull over right away. That's the other thing too. Asian Stacker and I happen to be going to the same concert in July. So, I don't know. Maybe we're destined to be buds. I don't know, Asian. But we're both going to see Wu-Tang. It's like the beginning of like a joke. A white guy and an Asian guy go to a rap concert. PNC, Prudential Arena. AA. CAC? Yeah, I don't know if that's necessary. An extra grade on top of a grade. I don't know. I don't know if you need the extra. You know? The Newark. That's right. I'll be going to Newark. I figure it's their very last... I've never seen them in concert. I'm a fan. And I might have... You know, I was like, I have to go and see them. It's the last time they're ever going to be in concert. The one I care most about Method Man, so if he's not there, you don't hear METHOD man, I'll be very upset. Speaking of which, Asian and anybody else in here who like Wu-Tang, there's a great Wu-Tang show on Hulu. It's 3 seasons. Highly recommend. Highly recommend. It's like their entire story of how they started. I might rewatch it all the way through. Never seen them ever. I was like, oh my god, it's their last tour. I'm a fan. What am I waiting for? I have to go. I mean, they're all... Some of them are like 60 years old. You know? 60-year-old rappers. I saw Wu-Tang, Cypress, Rage Against the Machine, all at the same concert. That's an insane concert. We were playing... Thanks, AA. I appreciate you. Beard, we were playing it on Easter. My wife was like, blank, play Wu-Tang. And then they started playing Gravel Pit. Oh, you watched the show? There was 3 episodes I didn't like, Asian Stacker, where they did like the weird thing with Old Dirty Bastard. And it was like an alternate universe. And they did the same thing with like the whole quest, like the Kung Fu type of quest. Of like trying to unite all of the Wu-Tang members to bring them all back together. Like I didn't like those. There's 3 episodes that were bizarre like that. I didn't like their like kind of like fantasy kind of. You know what I mean? Dirt McGlurk. I've seen Cypress and House of Pain at State Theater in the 90s. Now you're talking old school. Old school. Before we head out, I'll go if Onyx is on the card. Storm, you have a favorite Wu solo album? Shit, I need to pull out the old CD, album. It would probably be Method Man's initial release. It would probably be his. I have a whole bunch. Now you're going to make me bust this out. Now we're talking old school 90s. Look at this. Look at this thing. It can't even close. And right here in the front. Yeah, Asian Stacker. Absolutely. Okay, in the front. Man, I'm getting all sorts of subscribers. In the front is all of the rap stuff. So Tupac being my favorite. So we've got all like... I gotta stand up for this thing. Show and tell. This thing weighs a ton. All Tupac. Where am I? Over here. Tupac. Over here. Tupac. Tupac. Right? All Tupac. Love him. Love him. Love him. Love him. Like, arguably the GOAT. Tupac. Better Days. Alright, here's the Wu-Tang section. All right, so we've got Rizza down here. Who do we got here? Old Dirty Bastard and his what do you call it? What's that called, guys? Jesus, why can't I think of it? A welfare card. But I would have to say Method Man, arguably his solo album. See? I have him. Then I got DMX. So this was the stuff I was listening to. I have so much. And then I have Biggie. I have Busta Rhymes. I mean, we're talking a lot of stuff. Big Punisher. Mobb Deep. I loved. Who didn't like Mobb Deep back in the day? Snoop Dogg. E40. Too Short. Ice Cube. Nas. Anyway. Tupac is my favorite. Tupac is my favorite. Highly recommend. Any of you like Tupac? There's a 5 episode series on Hulu about Tupac. And I read, no, I'm not Asian Stacker. I don't know his stuff. I don't really know new people, new rap and everything. I'm stuck in the 90s, as I'm sure a lot of you. Tribe Called Quest I had in there, Ham. What's your favorite thing to collect outside of bullion? Coins. I love the question, Premiere. So, Premiere, I love comics. All 9/8s up there. I've been thinking about buying the first appearance of Venom. I'm very close to pulling the trigger. All 9/8s on this wall. All 9/8s of this cover. That's my favorite cover. Todd McFarlane. All in the different rarities. Right, we've got the regular signed by Todd 9/8, silver, which is the next rare, gold, the next rare, right, and then this is his Spawn paying homage to himself. I've got a 9/9 up there, which is rare, right there. So comics I like, and you guys want to go real old school. Oh, and I forgot behind me too. Right, first appearance of Punisher. That's not in a 9/8 though. Check this out. Let's see. Is this? Let's see if you guys. Randy might know this. Premiere. I'll be disappointed. Here we go. Ready? All right. All Garbage Pail Kids. All of them. Series 1 through 15. Multiple binders. Okay, every single A-B card, Series 1, complete. Series 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 15. I've got them all. And then I have the wax packages in there too. So, any of you who grew up in the 80s loving this stuff, this pop culture stuff, I love it. So, I've got the entire Garbage Pail Kids collection. 1 through 15. And I also happen to have a bunch of Magic the Gathering cards. Steve Woods, thank you so much for the super chat. So that, to me, now, I would love a Garbage Pail. What the hell, yes, says Jonathan. I ended up, check this out, Jonathan and Premiere. You guys might appreciate this. I made some of my own. I commissioned an artist. So the Stormtrooper, this was off of Scotty Potty. So I made my own Garbage Pail Kids. Instead of Stormy Weather or Stormy Heather, we've got Stormy Weather. So I sent these images to instead of Storm or Clogged Dwayne, I did Storm Drain. This was another popular GPK, and then my first one, Stacking Stormtrooper. So I love Garbage Pail Kids. Love them. So that Premiere, I mean, I think all of us are collectors of something other than just stacking in coins. I also had an extensive Yankee memorabilia collection. I sold off all of it with the exception of I have this Charles Fazzino artist pop art signed by Charles Fazzino, and then I've got these three which were signed and autographed to me. Dave Winfield up there, Wade Boggs, Don Mattingly. But I used to have like a lot of Yankee stuff too. A lot of Yankee stuff. Signed baseballs. And we're talking like some of the old school greats like Mickey Mantle, Joe DiMaggio. Yo, Turbo Damsel's got lots and lots of that stuff. Sports cards, I used to have a whole bunch of baseball cards. But yeah, those are the different things I collect. Mad magazine, I loved those too. Mad was great. I remember going to sleepaway camp and getting Mad magazines in the mail. I used to do retro video games. See, those are also cool. Slabbed and graded Premiere. My favorite Nintendo game, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. That's my favorite. You got the Smurfs. I used to have Smurfs, but I don't have those. But I remember having them as a little kid. And remember the California Raisins? Do you guys remember that? They were similar to the Smurfs, but they made like little figures of them. Because it's such a popular commercial. But the California Raisins. There's a couple really cool channels that I follow on YouTube and Instagram. Excitebike was awesome. Double Dragon was awesome. Excitebike. Zelda. Mario Brothers. But I would have to say Mike Tyson's Punch-Out was my favorite. I think you are more of a collector than I am, says Turbo. Probably. Sonic Craft. Sonic wasn't Nintendo though, bud. Contra. Absolutely. Up, up, down, down, left, right, left, right. What is it? BA Select Start. I collect rocks and crystals. Very nice. Those can be very valuable. Blaster Master and Battletoads. I didn't play those. I had a lot of Nintendo games. I remember I had Top Gun. What else? Some Mega Mans. There's a Bionic Commando, regular Commando. Tekken was good. I've had a handful of 2600s in my day. I was flipping them, so they didn't stay in the house very long, but I got some ET sessions in. Some of these slabbed and graded video games go for astronomical amounts of money. Big Apple Stacker, talk about another blast from the past. How are you? I don't really have a lot of currency, actually, Big Apple. Premiere was asking me what else do I collect. I have some notes on the wall up there, some bills, but not a lot. That's it. And I didn't get anything slabbed and graded. I have the one educational note that's on my desk, too. Big Apple, I know he's got a bunch. But guys, so we've been going for an hour and a half. Favorite coin in your collection, if you have to pick just one favorite? That's a good question. I don't know if I have just one favorite, but I would have to say my gold Scrooge McDuck would be my favorite because I remember when I was a little kid, and I don't know if any of you guys remember Mickey's Christmas Carol, but it was an animated cartoon, Mickey's Christmas Carol, and I remember watching Scrooge McDuck, just playing with all the gold coins. And I remember just like, wow, like I would like love to have all that gold and everything. And then they made the Scrooge McDuck coin. And I bought it because I feel like at a very young age, that resonated with me, and like gold stacking. And I didn't think about it until mid 2000s when I bought gold. And then I kind of had like a flashback. I was like, oh, I remember like that cartoon, watching it as a kid or whatever. And then they came out with the Scrooge McDuck coin. And I was like, I have to buy it because it kind of ties into that. So I would have to say that's my favorite. Wow. I would think the Gangster series would be your favorite components. Well, I looked at it. Actually, I looked at it to the right. And I thought about it for a second. But I was like, well, which one would I have more of a difficult time parting with? I also do love this because of just how much he effed me up as a kid. He scared the living hell out of me so badly. And I had to buy this coin. It's a little 10-gram silver coin. Scared me so badly. I remember those of you that watch horror movies and watch Nightmare on Elm Street, the scene where he's coming out of the wall and then in Nancy's room, and then there's her mom knocks on the door and he quickly goes back. I remember my family was asleep, my lights were on, and I was a little boy. I was like 7 or 8. I just saw it by accident on TV. And I sat in the middle of my room with the lights on, in the center of the room, as far away from the 4 walls as possible so he couldn't get me. And I kept looking behind my back until I probably fell asleep on the floor. What about Beetlejuice? Beetlejuice, I mean, that's not scary. I liked the movie. That didn't scare me. Do you guys know this Scrooge McDuck coin? I don't need to show you it. You guys know what it looks like, right? The gold Scrooge McDuck. This was positioned so well earlier, and then I started screwing around with it. Bring this down a little bit. He's just trying to get you to say Beetlejuice 3 times. I collect lots of Scrooge stuff. I'm trying to think of... But those, I would say, the Scrooge McDuck is my favorite coin. So if I was to sell everything, I probably would keep that just because of what it means. Poltergeist was scary. That's 2 times. Poltergeist 2. The old man scared me more than anything. Do you guys remember Poltergeist 2? And I read later on that guy, he was an actor who was dying of cancer, which is why he was so gaunt and like his face was sunken in because he was dying. So that guy, the preacher or whatever, that guy scared the hell out of me. He's like, God is in his holy temple. Do you guys remember that? And then he comes to the door and he's like, let me in, you're all gonna die. Scared the crap out of me. Can you imagine the casting call on that guy? I saw Exorcist when I was in 6th grade at a friend's house, and it didn't scare me. But I think because I was with a group of friends, it was during the daytime, and I probably didn't fully understand possession. I just thought it was like this girl that was like creepy and effed up. But probably today, like, I would say, like, if I were to watch a scary movie, like the last scary movie that I watched, like that was creepy and you had a sense of dread, would be It Follows. I don't know if any of you guys saw that. Also, I'd say The Conjuring 1 and 2 was pretty creepy. Conjuring, those were scary. Creep Show. I liked Creep Show. That was good. Classic. Remember the raft with like the ooze that would eat them? That was a good one. Finn59 Shaw says, I have no idea, but I have heard of Discord. Who knows? Maybe I'll Finn, Discord is kind of like, remember when AOL came out? Remember when AOL came out and they had chat rooms? That's kind of like Discord. It's like all these different servers, right? It's like chat rooms. But you have a little bit more capability. So like in my Discord server, you go in there and there's like 10 different rooms you can go in for topic. Like I broke it all up. So like if you want to talk about stocks, you could just go into the one chat room and just talk to everybody about stocks. If you wanted to talk about shit, I don't know, travel, there's a travel room. So there's all these different things you could go in and talk about different topics in there. But like I could live stream in there. I've only done it once. Like I could have like a live call, and there's a bunch of different things you can do in there. Apparently Goonies 2 is in the works. And Gremlins 3 is in the works. Twilight Zone, I loved watching the marathon during New Year's. Loved that. But guys, we could reminisce all night. I gotta eat still. I had a great time with you guys tonight. We'll do this again soon. Next week, most likely, will be an auction. And those of you that bought the Gold Imperial Eagles, those are supposed to land Friday, by the way. So those of you that bought the Spanish 10th ounce gold doubloon Imperial Eagles, those are going to land Friday. That's what tracking says. And so those will go in your wallets. And then next week, yeah, that will be the last auction of the month. Wallets will close out and ship out. So next Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern, final auction of the month. And guys, it was great hanging with you. Thank you, Create. I did as well too. And I'll see you guys throughout the